Hi everybody, welcome. It's Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, so it's time for Stamping with Denise. Welcome, so glad you could join me. Let's give just a second for everyone to find us and have it pop up on my feed so that I can share it. I hope you had a great weekend and a lovely day. The weather here in Michigan was beautiful today. I was pleasantly surprised when I went out this afternoon. It was very nice. So let's see here. Showing up yet? There we go. Okay. So let me get this shared, and then we will get going here. Okay, good. So everybody had a great weekend. Did you do any creating? Were you crafty, creative in any way? I hope so. That makes me feel so much better when I do that. So, let's see. Oh, you know what I did? I shared it, but then I didn't pull it up, so what can I say? There we are. Okay, well, if you're just joining me, welcome. This is my weekly Facebook Live. I've got a great project for you tonight. And if you like what you see, please give me hearts and likes and that kind of stuff. If you really like what you see, please share it with your friends and comment share down below, and you might win the project I'm working on tonight. Last week I showed you this really great card with the butterflies inside. Remember that kind of accordion full card? And someone who shared last week's video was going to get this, and that's going to be Melanie Jarjosa. So Melanie, I'll make sure you get this card. And again, as always, thank you so much for sharing my video. So, okay, let me put this off to the side. And I got a couple things to show you, and then we will get started. Let's see here, let me switch this to the view. Okay, so as you know, the current Stampin' Up! Catalog expires on May 3rd. So we'll be getting the retiring list very soon, but Stampin' Up! Has released early this beautiful butterfly bouquet stamp and die set. It's just gorgeous, and you can see here it's one big stamp. It's all one piece. Let me turn this over here and show you a little better. You can see it's one big stamp, and then there's a die it's one big die that will cut all of those out, and then there's all of these more intricate dies for cutting out other, the butterfly shapes where you can layer them or do some really fun stuff. And these two items will be available in the annual catalog, but what they're offering us now is this limited edition Butterfly Bijou 6x6 designer series paper. And it's just gorgeous. I've got some card samples here I'm going to show you. And also this birch color and texture designer series paper. I guess it's 2 sheets for $5. I haven't seen that, so I can't talk too much about it, but I don't know if you can tell in this picture here down below. Let me see. There's one die that's cutting out all of those butterflies. That's just amazing. So, and it's really pretty. So I thought I'd show you some cards I received using this designer series paper. Now this is one of my favorites. I love the ombre on this. It goes from the blues to the greens to the pinks. Oops, I can't get it in there. Let me pull it down. There we go. I've got things a little positioned a little differently, so I have to get used to it. So I think that's just gorgeous. This is primarily a pink, and here they've used the die to cut out one of the butterflies out of the designer series paper and use it as an accent on the front of the card. And it's such a simple design, but I think it has a lot of pow. I would love to get that card. I like this one too. This is just a lot of very beautiful, colorful butterflies with a great sentiment from, yeah, that's from another set. I'm not sure exactly what set that's from, but I think that's very pretty. And my last one to show you here, these are blues and greens in that design piece of designer series paper. I think that again makes a very, the card's very simple, but I think it's very striking. Let me tell you the colors that they use in this paper. Of course, there's Basic Black, Bermuda Bay, Blushing Bride, Calypso Coral, Just Jade, Magenta Madness, Mango Melody, Mint Macaron, Misty Moonlight, Poppy Parade, So Saffron. So that paper is only available while supplies last. And so a pack of 48 sheets of 6x6 designer series papers, $11.50. That item number is 156824. Don't forget my host code if you're putting an online order in. Okay. These 2 sheets of the birch paper are 12 by 12. Again, also only available while supplies last. The stamp set and the dies will be available in the new catalog that starts May 3rd. And like I've mentioned in past videos, don't forget, if there's any of the retiring in colors that you want, you need to start getting those things now. Some things I believe might already be on low inventory, so don't delay. So that's Purple Posy, Seaside Spray, Rococo Rose, what's the other colors? Pretty Peacock, and I'm trying to think what the other one is, and it's escaping me, but Terracotta Tile, that's it. So if you want those, don't wait. Okay, so tonight I want to play with the Stamparatus. It's been a long time since I've had it. I've been wanting to do a card for you all, or project using the Stamparatus, because I haven't done it in a very, very long time. And it was funny, I saw this card on Pinterest, and I was trying to plan some cards for my class later this month. Actually, my in-person class is on March 20th. So if you're interested, please let me know. I do have space available. And, you know, I had used the Stamparatus to put all of these perfectly aligned galoshes on the card. So simple to do, so simple to do. I thought, I gotta get that. You know, you forget about things you have, and then you use it, and you're like, oh, this is so much fun. I have to do some more of this. So this is what I've been playing with all weekend. But we can blame this card, okay? I really like that. But what I thought I'd show you how to do was to do a wreath card. It's one of the great things to do with the Stamparatus. Stamparatus is also good if you're making a lot of something. You just, you know, can be just like a machine. It also helps with making sure your placement is precise. It can also help if you need to re-ink something, restamp something that maybe didn't get stamped real well. You can do it beautifully. So anyway, these were a couple of cards I made playing around with some wreaths, because I hadn't made any for a while. This piece I used was 3 by 3. This was 4 by 4. I'll show you. I was playing around with the Forever Fern And these I didn't make into cards, but I was just playing. I think I used that leaf right there and stamped it 8 times all the way around. And this one, it's stamped 8 times all the way around. So depending on the size of your card, you know, it certainly makes a difference in terms of your, you know, what it looks like. But then this one had these spaces and it needed something. So what I did was I used this stamp and I put this, I just wanted those 2 little, they kind of looked like berries to me. This is a little muddier than I like it, but you get where I'm going with that. And so I was able to just ink up those 2 little, I know they're not berries, but that's kind of what they look like, and stamp that going all the way around. And I'm going to show you how really, really simple it is to do. So, but we are going to use the lovely U stamp set, which is the stamp set I used for these cards. These are exactly the same inks and everything. The only thing that's different is the size of the piece of basic white and the size of the circle, and of course the length of the sentiment. But this is a favorite set of mine. I really do like this a lot. So we're going to set these over to the side. Oh, here's one that I made. I used this little fleur-de-lis, for lack of a better word, and it made a cute little feature, and then I didn't know what to do with it, so I dressed it up with, I love navy and gold together, so this was a piece of our ivory ribbon that's gold trimmed, colored with the blends, and just tied in a pretty knot and put on there. And I think it would just make a cute little thinking of you card for somebody. So we're going to do one more along this line here. These colors are Bermuda Bay and Mango Melody, but I decided to go ahead and opt for some of our in colors. So I'm going to use just Jade and Bumblebee, and then Smoky Slate for the sentiment. And we're going to do one like this, and then we're going to do one that is smaller on a 3x3. This is a 4x4 piece of paper, and I'm going to really show you how easy it is. So let me start out with my piece of 4x4 inch paper, and let's pretend this is brand new here. Pretend you haven't seen that, okay? This is what you've got. This is your grid paper, okay? And these stamps are red rubber, so I don't need the foam, but there's a foam insert that is great for using with the photopolymer stamps. So if you were going to use a 4x4 piece, what you could do is simply kind of go toward the center, draw around your 4x4 piece, and then you want to turn it 90 degrees. And for this, it's really easy. You can tell it's even because it'll go on these, you know, little marks, and then you're going to draw that. Okay, and that's all you do to draw your template to use. Now this one has 2x2, 3x3, 4x4, and 5x5. I figured as long as I was making a template, I might as well put all the color or all the sizes on there. So I did, and I probably should have done them in different colors, but you know what, for me, this works. I know exactly what I'm doing. Now the Stamparatus has storage on the bottom for 2 very heavy if you get your finger pinched between them. Ask me how I know. Ask me how I know. Been there, done that. So I will try to avoid that. And actually for this, I really only need one magnet. It works fine. So what I'm going to do is I am going to put my 4x4 piece on my rectangle just like that. And that what that does is going to help me get it in the same position every time I stamp. I was going to say something. Now I forgot what I was going to say. Phew, just left. Oh, I know what it was. You always want to start on your straight side, not on your corner, because this is where you have the least amount of clearance. Because you can see right here, this, oh, there we go, we're back. Sorry about that. So anyway, I've put my paper on the 4x4 paper on my template. And what I was saying is you want to start on your straight side. Because that's where you have the least amount of clearance. And I started actually on the corner, and so when I got to my straight side, it went slightly off my paper. Now it's not enough that I decided not to use this, but it's just something to think about when you're putting these together. And so I think we're going to recreate this one in a different color. So I think we'll start out with these little flowers here, okay? So, and what's really nice, I'm gonna move this over just a little bit, is this, putting my stamp case under here gives me something to rest this plate on. If you're not familiar with the Stamparatus, it's got hinges on two sides. It comes with two plates. So this one you can go like this. Let me get my other plate here. It goes right in here, and it can go down. So I could have two things going on at one time. I could stamp like that, and then I could stamp like that. But for what I'm doing, and since I'm not doing a ton of them, just one is plenty. Okay, so here we are. We're back to this. Okay, so I have my stamp that I'm going to use. I'm going to lay it where I want it. I want it, let's say, about that far from the edge of the paper. Okay? And so then all I have to do is close my sheet up, and there we go. It's stuck, and it's going to stamp in the same place every time. How simple is that? Now, something that's really nice to use, if you have them, are the Stampin' Spots, the little small ink pads. Stampin' Up sells a few colors already inked. You can buy blank ones and ink them up with your favorite colors. These also come in your paper pumpkin kits. So I saved mine, and they're perfect for this because it makes it really easy. You have more control over these little stamps than you do the bigger ones. But the two colors I wanted to use, I didn't have Stampin' Spots for. So I think that tells me I'm going to have to buy some to use. So I'm going to use the ink color, or the Just Jade, for this piece. And so all I'm going to have to do is ink it up, rub it, there we go. Now, it's stamped okay, but you know what? I'd like it a little bit darker, a little more solid, like that. And so I'm just going to put it like that. And look at that, see? I stamped it twice in the same place perfectly. As long as you don't move your paper, that works. So then when you're done with this, you're going to move your paper. You're going to turn it, what was that, probably 30 degrees? I don't know. And you're going to repeat this all the way around. And you know what? I just know because I want a bolder color, I'm doing it twice because I can. Okay. So then we're going to turn it again. Now, this is something you don't have to think too hard once you get into the just, you know, the rhythm of it. But with these bigger ink pads, it's easy to get ink on this plate, which really isn't a problem, but you do have to be careful, make sure you don't get it on your project. You shouldn't, because the magnet and the stamp are going to keep the plate from touching your paper, but you still need to be careful. Because never say never, because have you ever somehow gotten ink on a project and you couldn't figure out, you don't know where that ink came from because you don't have it on your hands, you don't have it anywhere? Yeah, well, it's one of those kind of things. Now see, this one's going to be a little smaller, I think, than this one, just because I moved it in a little bit in this on the side, but that's okay. Everyone's a little bit different. So now, like I said, this is a 4-inch piece of paper. I could very easily do, and the next smaller size is 3. Could very easily do 3.5 inches, either drawing another template or just, you know, centering it between the 3 and 4-inch template that's on my paper. There we go. I love this set, you know, just when I think I've done everything I want to do with it, then it becomes another set. I love the fonts, I love the artwork in it. I like the punch that coordinates with this, that comes as a bundle, which is what I used here. I just realized my clothes are color coordinated again with my project. If you saw last week, I was color coordinated with that one. Go figure. Oh well. Yeah, this is a very strong magnet. Some people put like a little piece of duct tape around it or several layers of washi tape. I don't know, I just haven't done that. Let's see. This is a little smaller than I intended. I don't know. This flower, I guess that's what we're going to use. See, they're never exactly the same unless you don't move your stamp. And that's the great thing, because then I can leave this stamp on this plate, flip it over, put a stamp on the other side, and use it. I'll show you here. So that if I wanted to come back. See, you can see right here, maybe. You can see I've got a little bit of ink right there. But there we go, there's that. Now I'm gonna go back to this direction, because remember, when we're putting a new stamp on, this is what we want to do. So I am going to flip this over like this. I'm gonna put it like that, then I won't get ink on everything. Actually, I have to get the stamp out of there. Let's get that little it's one of those things I don't play with near enough. I don't know. Should have done it just a little bit bigger, I think. You know, I could almost leave it like this, but you know what, I don't want to. Let's do one here and see what we get. Let me start right here. Let's try that. Okay, now I'm going to use, this is the Bumblebee. We're going to see what we got here. I did re-ink this pad earlier today, so we'll see. Looks like the green flower is growing out of the middle of the yellow one. Oh well, you know what? For this purpose, we're going to just keep on moving. And I'm going to show you, I played with these earlier too, and I wanted to show you the difference on these. These are 3x3s, and on this one, I just did each image 4 times. This one was, and then I went back and put the flower in between. This one, I did this image 8 times and didn't even bother with the flower because there really wasn't room. Now I suppose I could probably dig through my stamps and find a small enough flower, but that's okay. There we go. There we go. We're going to turn this way. And I think I know why I'm a little smaller. I moved it in a little bit. And I'll tell you why in a minute. Yep, see, now I've got some yellow ink on this. Let's go here. But really, the possibilities are endless, you know, in terms of how elaborate these get. So let's go. Got 3 more flowers to do. You can see how everything's pretty standard here. Let's see here. And one more. We're almost done. I think it looks okay. Sometimes I don't know. And sometimes you just have to finish the whole thing till you can tell for sure. Okay. There we go. There's the wreath. It's done. I like that. Okay, I'm going to set this off to the side. Actually, you know what, real quick before I do that, I'm going to clean this up. Just realized I meant to take my chamois upstairs and wash it earlier, and I didn't do that. But this is why the chamois is so nice. You can just pull it out and just wipe everything off. I covered my template with clear contact paper. I did not wrap it over the sides. I just cut it even with the paper, the grid paper, because I didn't want any kind of anything that might make a affect how I was stamping. So I just cut it even. So if I get a little bit on here, I can wipe it off. There we go. That just means I don't have to create that template so often. I can just wipe it off. Looks nice. Okay, let me set those over to the side. Okay, so this one has used just Jade and Bumblebee, which are 2 of our current ink colors. So let me go ahead. This is a piece of cardstock. It is 8.5 by 5.5, and it's folded in half. This is Smoky Slate. I wanted to say gray granite, but it's not. Smoky Slate. Gray granite has a little bit of a browner. They're very similar, but it's a little more brown. In a pinch, you could probably use it. So, what I wanted to show you too with this, because I did it with this one. Remember I said this base card was 4, or the card I stamped on was 4? It actually is 3 3/4, because what happened was after I finished stamping, I had enough around the edges to trim it off. So that's one reason mine is a little closer together, because I wanted to make sure I had that. So let's see how big this is across. This is about 3.5, so I'll probably take 1/4 inch off of every side. So it'll go to right there. Whoops. And 4, there we go. Oops. Right there. There we go. So see, it's a little more slim and trim. Get this out of the way here. So I haven't cut my piece for behind it yet. Actually, let me keep this because I wanted to see what this turned out to be. So you can tell it's a little bit smaller even than that one, and that's okay. So what did I decide? This was 3.5. So I'm gonna make it 3 3/4 square. So this is some Just Jade. 3 3/4 inches square. Wait a minute, hopefully I didn't cut too much. Oh no, perfect, okay. All of a sudden I was kind of second guessing myself. Do you ever do that? You think you know what you're gonna do, and then you do it and you're in the middle of it and it's like panic. Okay, I gotta get my adhesive here, my seal. Can't reach it. Oh, come on. There we go. Okay. Here is my seal. We're gonna put. So the Stamparatus, like I said, is really good for doing wreaths like this. It's good if you're doing a lot of repetitive of the same stamp, you know, stamping the same thing, multiples of a card, like when you work on your Christmas cards maybe and you do multiples. There we go. That can be, you know, that works. It also works like if you have a punched piece. Let me show you. Hold on, let me grab a punch. I'll show you. Okay, we'll play with this one here. I'll show you. Hold on, my paper's behind me here. Okay, so let me bring my Stamparatus back out. I'll show you. This is another great way to use it too. And this works really well for a class. So say people are punching out this shape, okay? And then they're gonna stamp on it. So say you wanna put that up there and you put your magnet there. So you can come in, you can put your piece right in here. Just like that, you stamp it, take it out, you put the next one in, you stamp it. So when you have a small piece like this, that's a good way to use that. Let's just put that out of the way. So, and like I said, I also like it when you get a, when you're not sure if you're gonna get a stamp inked up really well, and you want to have the ability to re-stamp it, it works nicely there. Okay, so this is a piece of basic white that I have embossed with the Ornate Floral embossing folder. I just love these flowers. I think they're cool. And so I'm going to put this across here. Just about like, I'll trim that off when I'm done. Trim the edge probably here. Now something I didn't do, I just assumed I was going horizontal with this. Let me get the center here. There we go. Because remember when I did these two cards, one of these is horizontal and one of them is vertical. I tried to play with them how they looked better, and that was kind of what I came up with. So let me trim this off of here. Okay, and we're going to use some dimensionals to apply that right there. Now if you've got one that's not stamped real well, you can position it so it's maybe hidden behind your sentiment. But I think they're okay. Let me get some dimensionals out here. Get these. These were some of the ones I was having trouble with the backs not coming off real well, coming off the paper, but I found a solution, so they're working now. There we are. I'm excited to see the new catalog, but we've still got so much new stuff in these other catalogs. Whew. Gotta decide what I want to work on, show y'all for next week. I think I know what bundle I want to use. I just have to find something to use it in. So I'm gonna put this, whoops, right smack dab in the middle here. I hope you like that Stamparatus. It's very much worth having, and you have to make sure you get the grid paper for it too, because that really does help. Okay, so we have to do our sentiment. I've got my little basket of scraps here. Let me pull out a piece here. There's a good piece here. And I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to stamp and then I'm going to trim. So which sentiment should we use? This one is miles apart but still in my heart. This one was cherished friend. Which one should I do here? Love is what makes us family. How about that? Here's my stamp. Okay, now I've got my Smoky Slate ink pad. I am going to put this, let's see, how white is that? Okay. I think I'm gonna stamp this down toward the bottom here and then trim. It's a little tricky to line this one up straight because, it's not a straight line. It kind of moves a little bit, because makes, love is one level, makes us is another one, and family's another one. So you kind of have to think that through. Okay, where's my little trimmer here? Now the punch we're going to use, you've seen me use it before, is the Lovely Labels punch. This punch has three, what do you call those? Grooves. That's not the word I was looking for. It's got a 1/2 inch, 3/4, and 1 inch. So I think I'm probably going for 3/4 with this, but we will see. Oh, I better close this ink pad up because that is trouble waiting to happen. So I think I'll trim this off the bottom first. Actually, no, I'm going to leave that right like that is. And I think I'm going to... Well, I might actually have to trim some off. Let's see, this one's a little thicker than the other ones. Okay. Okay, that's half, so that right there is 3/4. Let's see, is that going to trim the bottom of that off? Just, I think it is. There we go, I took it off. So it's just a skosh longer than 3/4. I hope that's straight. Okay. Well, let's see how it goes. Let's see which end. I think I'll use the flat one. Yeah, It's bigger than 3/4, but not as big as 1 inch. So I'm gonna have to kind of, normally if they were the size of the groove, they slide right in there and it's super simple, but of course I had to make it a little more difficult. So I'm gonna make sure I have this centered on here, so I get a nice end on here. There we go. Let's see how that looks. Perfect. One down, one to go. Yeah, so I just make sure, you know, when it doesn't quite fit in the grooves, you can still use it. Just make sure you're kind of centered. And you can use the design on the edge to, you know, get yourself lined up. Okay, there we go. And then I'm going to use a piece of gray again. This is the Smoky Slate. I'm going to make this one 1 inch. That over to the side. Okay, let's see how long this is. This was 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I make this piece here is 1, 2, 3, 4.5, I think that'll be about right. So see, this is, let me just take a little bit more off so it fits in there nice. It's nice to have the ability to do these nice small little cuts. I keep grabbing the edge of my guide there. Okay, so there we go. See, it slides in perfect. It's straight if you butt it all the way up to the end, and boom. So see, when it fits the channel, that's the word I was looking for, channel. When it fits the channel, it's easy. If it's in between, you have to kind of, you can use it, you just have to be a little more finesse, so to speak. Let's see, is that how long I want it? Oh, this is what makes us family. Put it on there like that, or should I make it a little bit shorter? I'm going to cut one end. I'm going to cut this down again. I'll cut one of these ends down. Whoops, wrong one. You can tell I didn't like really measure, because sometimes you just don't know how it's going to go. Sometimes you just go on the fly. Yep, that's better. I like that. Okay, so put a seal on here. My issue was this was a little bit wider of a sentiment than the other one, so it wasn't as simple. Maybe it was a little more involved. Let's see, do I have that straight? That looks pretty well centered. Okay, let's get some dimensionals here. Boom, boom. I'll throw one right in the middle there. And yes, when you're doing a wreath like this, if you're putting a sentiment on it or a bow or something like that, it's a good opportunity to cover up something that you might have not done exactly perfect, so to speak. Okay, I'm going to put this like that. And then to embellish it, I'm going to use some of the 2022 in color dots. Let me get my little knife here. I'm going to use the Just Jade. You can tell I like these embellishments. I'm going to put one right here. Come on. Right about there. And there we go, right about there. And there you go. There is that. So I used the Stamparatus, the lovely used stamp set, and the Lovely Labels punch to make what I think is a perfectly lovely card. So I hope you liked it. If you have any interest in this, let me know. The Stamparatus is a must-have. It's great too for those people that might have arthritis or dexterity issues. It makes it a lot easier to stamp. Or maybe sometimes that, you know, a little bit of a tremor in their hand or something makes them feel a whole lot more secure in stamping. So I hope you liked today's card. Please share, comment shared below, and I might be sending you this one. If you're on YouTube, please hit subscribe, leave me a comment. I'd love that too. So thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you next Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern for Stamping with Denise. Take care now. Bye-bye.